Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another round of sound. This is the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown, and we are live tonight following quite a day of football. The Steelers came into this with a 2% chance of getting to the postseason. It could have ended last week. It didn't, and it could have ended today 3 different ways, but it didn't. They needed the Jets to lose. They did. They needed the Miami Dolphins to lose. They did. And they also needed to beat Baltimore, something they did, and it didn't look good at the time. It was 13-3, and the Steelers were down to their final drive, just like it was against the Raiders. When they had an opportunity to win the game, Kenny Pickett did a long drive, which resulted in a touchdown pass to George Pickens. This time, it was an 80-yard, 11-play drive, and that one resulted in a touchdown pass from Kenny Pickett to Najee Harris, and so the beat goes on. We welcome you, and here is our panel to discuss all of this. We have Andrew Fillipponi from 93.7 The Fan, the PM team. In the middle, Jason Mackey, who does a great job covering the Pirates and anything else, really, for the Post-Gazette. Will Graves, Associated Press, right here. So
any more champagne from first night left over? Can we get that on set right now?
You want it? I got some.
Let's go get some.
It's at my desk right now.
Come on,
I guess let's go.
Let's get a little bit going.
Well, listen, there's still a way to go here because they have 3. But they did what they had to do today. So first, start with you, Andrew. I know you don't need champagne to be high here tonight. Yeah. You're pretty high on what's going on. Kenny Pickett. Some will say this is the last week and this week. That's what people wanted to see before they made the distinction that this is potentially the franchise quarterback. You've been on his bandwagon all along.
Yes, because
what have you seen more than maybe what you expected the last 2 weeks?
He's doing what made him a generational player at Pitt. It's not incredible running ability like Lamar Jackson. It's not huge arm strength like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. The guy has an ability in big moments to calm down and make plays, which is why I thought he was a Joe Burrow type out of college, because it's that same calm steadiness, and now he's done it in back-to-back weeks. He did it at Baltimore. They had not allowed a second-half touchdown or a touchdown at all in Baltimore in like 15 quarters. So it's incredible. I mean, it's in a way, it reminds me of when Roethlisberger first broke in. The numbers were not huge.
And they weren't tonight either.
When the game was on the line, the guy comes through for you.
You know what I love, Pump? He had help, too. It wasn't just Kenny Pickett. As incredible as he was.
Well, when is it one man, really,
Well, no,
Jason?
I agree with you. But Kenny Pickett's going to look infinitely better. But the way the offensive line blocked, the way Najee Harris ran, the way the defense tightened down in the second half, I'm just saying that there was plenty of supporting parts around him. I'm not saying Believe me, I'm not disagreeing with any of that.
The Raiders, though, last week, I mean, look, as good as the pass to Pickens was, the Raiders invent ways to lose games,
That's
right?
That's a good point.
And they basically let them go down the field, and Kenny made one really great pass, and they won the game. This was not that. This was, and look, I've been here, Caboli always gives me a hard time because I come on here and I yell about, can we just wait? Can we just wait? Oh, Kenny, can we just wait? And I mean, the 3 passes, I mean, when he had to have it, and it wasn't like, here's a check down, here's a check down, here's a check down. It was, especially the pass to Sims, and then making something happen with his legs. That is grown man football, and look, he doesn't have to be great for them to be great. He has to be pretty good. And to be honest with you, is he getting better every week? When you guys watch a lot of Red Zone today, there's a lot of bad quarterback play in the league.
There's no question.
Collinsworth hit the nail on the head with that Pickett throw to Najee Harris. If Mahomes or any elite quarterback makes the same play, they're gushing about it for at least 24 hours. And think about Mahomes. Where was he his rookie year? Watching. Yep. That was the plan here. I mean, he's doing things that Brady didn't do, Rodgers didn't do, Mahomes didn't do. Why? Because those guys were made to watch. The idea that he was going to get better from just watching from the sideline, we've seen the last 2 weeks, that initial idea was preposterous. The guy should have been playing from day one, and we've seen him gradually get better as the season has gone on.
It's been more than gradual.
The last 2 weeks,
right?
it's
been expedited.
The rise
I was thinking about this watching the game. You wanted to see an evolution this season from Kenny Pickett. You've seen a very good evolution, way more than I think all 3 of us probably sitting here would even think. I mean, it's been far and away. His learning curve has been so good.
I mean, the game plan, though, is still – look, the offensive line played great. Najee played great. Jalen Warren played great. But, I mean, how did they take the ball out of Kenny's hands for 3.5 quarters? I mean, that was bizarre. He had, 15 pass attempts in the first 3 quarters. When you're running the ball that effectively, how was there not play action to have 14 run as far as he can and throw the ball?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point.
I mean, it's like
frankly,
they tried to not lose the game. When they let him go win it, he won it. Why? How about we try to win it in the second quarter next
time? And they
time,
have the
if they're
talent to
gonna
do that, where I think Baltimore doesn't right now. Tyler Huntley is not as good as Kenny Pickett, and he's been in the league
But to
longer.
Will's point, that's a lot like when Ken Wisenhunt was with Ben initially. Remember, Ben wanted to have the handcuffs taken off, and that's why he got so buddy-buddy with Bruce Arians, because he let him basically do what he wanted. So I agree with Will. I think their game plan was we lost the first matchup because our quarterback threw 3 interceptions. And they were hell-bent on not allowing for that to happen.
But sometimes you stifle the own
I agree,
his
but I
ability.
actually think in a weird way that makes Pickett's performance more impressive, because he really was not allowed to get into a rhythm at all in this game.
Right. Which didn't make any sense because, yes, I mean, look, of course, Mitch turned the ball over, arm punted 3 times, but he also threw for, 272 in 3 quarters, and their inability to test that secondary was, I mean, that was a bizarre, I mean, like, it's strange to complain about it because of the end result, but, like, they had every chance to not have it come down to that. So that was fair.
They ran the ball effectively.
Yeah, let's talk about that, Jason. They did run the ball, and they've been running the ball well. When they commit to it, they do it well. Tonight, would you say it's Najee Harris's best effort as a Pittsburgh Steeler? I do.
Without
I thought it was angry running the way he did against that team. And Jalen Warren's turned out to be the perfect complement. So this offense, you may have had doubts about it going into this season, knowing they're going to get a really high second-round pick, if not the number 1 second-round pick. You could see them taking off next year offensively, right?
I like it a lot. I like the 2-back complement that they've had. I think Pat Freiermuth, the catch he made late was really impressive, sitting down in a soft area of the zone. There's obviously a rapport with Kenny Pickett. I'm excited about a lot of things relative to this offense. I can't believe I'm saying that, given the 2-6 start.
Wait, I know. Did Pomp just endorse Matt Canada to come back in 2023? Is that what just happened?
Kenny Pickett did. Kenny Pickett was asked about it tonight in the postgame. He said, I really thought Matt Canada called a great game plan, or good game plan. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's sort of leaning in that direction.
Young players mature. I'm not making a statement about Matt Canada. I think we've seen young players grow up in a hurry this season, Jalen Warren included. And
but should he not get some credit for that too?
Well, but their biggest touchdown drives happen in a 2-minute drill situation, which is a carryover from last year. The Steelers' offense with Roethlisberger didn't thrive until it was late in the game, and it was basically like a, let's get up to the line of scrimmage and see what happens kind of thing, which is kind of the way it's gone the last 2 weeks. The red zone possession before they scored a touchdown was Warren run, throw to Sims.
Right.
I mean, like, that's
the big players weren't even on the field. I was looking at that thing.
That's what I mean. I mean, that's the stuff still that prevents me from saying, well, actually, maybe I've been too hard on the coordinator because of moments like that in big games.
All right, we're going to talk more about this as we go along. We're going to also ask these guys a question. Can the Steelers complete this and get into the postseason? They had a 2% chance. It's now up to 16%. We'll find out coming up. We'll talk about that and much more to this game right here live on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown.